Howdy, howdy. We are live. Hey, it's exactly 10:30. It just flipped. Hi, everybody.
Nice. Hola.
Hola. Now, your weather is not 78 this time, is it, Hannah?
No, right now we are 41.
We are 36. It got to 28 overnight. Winter is on the way.
Yep, about a month out.
I'm pretending it isn't. You'll see the beautiful pretend sky behind me. It doesn't look like that here. It's it's bright, but it's really cold. It's cloudless, which makes it very, very cold. So
Same over here.
Yeah, I have 3 comments, but I don't know if they're from our guys or the thing before us. Let's see who we got.
Squirrel Lake's back.
Yes. Okay, Northwest Media. Oh, okay. Woo! That's fun. Yes. Aha! I remember. This is a new visitor. Thank you. Thank you. Don't know your real name. I guess we'll just pretend that we know you until you tell us who you are. Squirrel Lake is back. Yay! Well, we're going to do a couple really quick joyrides. I've been so busy writing for a client this week. I mean, literally, I have never written this much in a week since I was working full time. It's just crazy. Helen is here from
Hey, Helen.
And hi. And so my joyride is going to be a picture, one of my favorite pictures. How do you like that? I'm going to come right here and show. I do not know why this picture gives me such joy to see it. It's in my den. I know Hannah and Helen have both seen it, but here you go. That's Fiona. That's baby Fiona. She is a baby hippo, and she just makes me smile. There's my joyride. Good. I'm going to leave her there for a minute.
She's so cute.
Isn't she cute? Oh my gosh, I can't stand it. Okay.
If only I could stay that small forever.
Yeah, really. Baby elephants, too.
Yes.
You see those baby elephants that are, sitting on people's laps, and you're going, boy, howdy, that's not going to be too... That's not going to be real doable. I had to be really careful with Deacon, my serval, when I was raising him, because I knew he would grow up to be a kitty who was above knee high, almost the size of a small Doberman. And I thought, I can't let him do things as a kitten that I can't allow him to do as a cat, as a grown-up.
Yeah.
So I had to be really, really careful and help him learn some boundaries, humanely, totally, because with a cat, they kind of feel like they're your equals. They're not used to being roughhoused, or like dogs live in a pack and they, grab each other by the scruff and lay each other down and growl at each other and kind of establish their pack that way. But cats don't do that. Cats are pretty solitary. And if you try to corporally bringing a cat into, as many lion so-called tamers have found out, if you try to, bull your way into a cat, you're going to get hurt at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're just plain not going to stick around. They're not going to stick around. They're going to leave.
Chris, I'm sorry. I think I got to step out for a second.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
I'll see you in a minute.
Hannah's with her special needs sister right now, and everybody else is out of the house. So she told me that she would end up probably having to come and go. And I said, that's fine, because I have a lot of fun stuff to share with you guys. I'm going to come back up over here to Brand, and I'm going to start. What I really want to say today to everybody is live your dream. I mean, seriously, don't sit back and say, I really wish I could do that, because unless you just freaking step out and do it, it won't get done. There are so many things that can keep you from doing it. But I moved to Hollywood in 1989 because I wanted to work in the entertainment industry. Fortunately, I had somebody there, Dee, who was willing to help me get my foot in the door. But even then, once you get your foot in the door, you have to be able to keep it there. So I had a heck of a lot of fun in Hollywood. And when I came back, my sister was working in a bank. She was very, very unhappy. She was just coming and going, and it looked to me like, my gosh, she was so miserable. She loved her client. She loved the people who came into the bank, but she was having issues with, supervisor, this, that, and the other thing. And one day I realized she was coming and going, and really didn't have a life other than sleeping and, and working, because she was a bank VP and she did a lot of outreach, did a lot of this stuff. Anyhow, so one day I thought, she's just running her butt off trying to make things happen. And so I put this up on her door. She has never taken it down. It's been there for 5 years on the door between where she lives and where I live. Slow down. Happiness is trying to catch you. And unless you slow down and enough to figure that out, you're just walking right by it all the time. When my first book about Dee came out, it was called DeForest Kelley, A Harvest of Memories. My Life in Times with a Remarkable Gentleman Actor. It's no longer that. It's been updated and given a new name. But the only bad review I got on it was, that's delusional. That Kris she made all that up. Absolutely made it all up. So that when I republished it again on the 20th anniversary, I actually put in documentation, because it's like, guys, I did not make that up. I would have put myself in a rubber room if I had thought all of that stuff could happen. So this particular meme really, really makes it with me. When people say you're delusional, people will say you're delusional if you want to follow your dreams. I got news. You're not delusional. You're living the life you're supposed to be living. You're supposed to be finding what enervates you and what your passion is, and you're supposed to go after it, as long as that passion can also help the world, the people around you. So when
I first started middle school, the principal called us in for an random assembly. And the only thing that I took away from that is something he said, which was, if people don't laugh at your dreams, you're not doing it hard enough.
They're not big enough. Yep, true. What a great teacher. What a great. Well, here is one of my favorite memes. A friend told me I was delusional. I almost fell off my unicorn.
Nice.
So I'm going to take you on a journey of not day to day, but a journey of, working in Hollywood and stuff like that. And of course, I interacted with Dee an awful lot, but you read a book about that. So I want to show you some of the other stuff. When I was at Warner Brothers, they had all these different sets. And one of the last remaining set that even the next generation worked on was their Western set. And this was literally out my back window at Warner Brothers. So very often I would go over there and eat lunch and sit on the steps. Back behind here in this image, if you went back behind the farthest buildings that you can see in the distance there, the Walton place was there, the John Boy Walton house and the lake and the stuff there. And so, I could take a little short walk and I could be anywhere from the Wild West to the Walton home. And if you recall this outtake from Dee pretending he didn't know what a gun was, although he'd, been in Westerns for 20 years, that McCoy didn't know what a gun was. When I was at Laramie Street, I actually could not remember the exact pose of this, but I knew it was something like this. So I tried to recreate it over here on the left. Like, what is that? Of course, and then I got down on the set of, I think it was Tombstone. It looks like it was Tombstone. And said cowboy. There I am shooting this fake gun, and in the lower images are me sitting on the barrel and my mom. And here's a picture that I think 2 years, whenever they landed on Mars, they gave us a Marscape, and I put a cowboy there. That me as a cowboy there. The handkerchief around my neck, the kerchief around my neck, I got for a convention, a DeForest Kelley convention, and it was actually for a dog. It reads, "Looking for love, but will settle for bones." Yeah. But here I worked on my very first job in the industry was working on Baywatch. There was a gal there who was leaving it. They knew the first season of Baywatch, it got canceled. It was brought back and would have been its third year under David Hasselhoff's direction. But it had already been canceled, but there was still like 3 months to go, you know. And so the gal who had been their script creator and stuff, not their creator, but their secretary, she recommended me for this position. And I went in and I said, oh my gosh, I've never worked with Zyrite. Not. She said, don't worry, I'll teach you in a weekend. This is the thing. You have to grab onto opportunities no matter how bad it scares you. I thought, learn a software program in a weekend? Are you serious? You know, she said, you can do it. I will teach you. It's okay. You know, and so she took me in and she sat me down and she said, I need to leave, but I found my replacement. And they interviewed me a little bit and said, yeah, okay, cool. And then they said, well, what do you want for a salary? I had never even looked into it. I mean, it was like, oh, I didn't know what to say. And I looked at Jackie, and Jackie picked it right up and said, what I was getting, of course. And they said, fine. And, you know, I got what she was getting for the last 3 months, but I got my foot in the door. And then I was able to walk across the street to another studio and say, yes, I do have, you know, some background, 3 or 4 months of background. And, you know, I got a letter of reference from the person I worked, actually 3 of the people I worked for there, so that they knew I was, you know, I showed up for work. I did my job. I was fun to be around, and why not hire, you know? So that led to another thing, and that led to another thing. I just want to encourage you, don't let what you can't do stop you. Look for somebody who is willing to take you under their wing and show you. People, when they're hiring you, as long as they know they'll like you and that you will show up and you'll be easy to work with, they will teach you what you need to know. They're looking for somebody who will stick around and be fun to be around, because nobody wants to work with people who drag them down. So just always remember, just because you don't have a skill doesn't mean you can't develop it, or that they might help you develop it. I got my first job as a copywriter because I was a features writer. I didn't know about sales writing at all, but I kept seeing this ad in the paper for like 3 months, need a copywriter. So I read a couple of copywriting books and went, oh yeah, I can do this. And I went in, I took their tests, and they said, absolutely, you're wonderful. We have another couple of people to interview. We'll get back to you. You're looking good. And a little while later, they called and said, you know, you're really, really good. We're going to put you in our backup file. But this other gal we interviewed said she has in the trenches copywriting experience, and you don't. I don't know what you'd be like under pressure, this, that, and the other thing. I understood that. I knew I'd be fine under pressure, but they didn't know that. So about 3 hours later, the phone rings and they call me back and they said, are you still available? And I'm like, yeah, where else would I have gone in 3 hours, you know, but I didn't say that. I said, yes, I'm still available. She says, the person we offered it to said she only wants to work part-time. Are you willing to work full-time? And I went, yeah. And she goes, wonderful. Well, we'll see you Monday. This was a Friday. We'll see you Monday. Well, I went out and read 2 more copywriting books just to be absolutely certain that I knew what I was doing. You know, I got in and they sat me down, and the owner of the business said, look, I don't want you to do any writing, seriously, for 2 months. I do not want you to do any writing. I just want you to sit with my other copywriters and see how they interact with their clients and see what they do and see what this production thing is all about. And I said, fine. I was there about 10 days. And they said, okay, let's start writing. And the head copywriter said, holy smokes, Kris is great. Told the boss, and he said, okay, go ahead and start. And she's good with, and I was good with clients, because he'd given me a couple of clients to handle during that period of time as I was shadowing him. And so he turned me loose, and I was literally in 10 days, I was, you know, in there, and I won their employee of the quarter the last 2 months I worked there. So you just have to go in there and say, okay, nobody knows it all the minute they come to a new job. Nobody. It's a new company. It's a new culture. You have to learn stuff. And as long as you're willing to do that and you're personable and friendly and appreciative and whatever, they will give you the leeway you need to succeed. More about, you know, 2 years ago, this is when I'm back from Hollywood, I went to Comic-Con because I had seen Carl Urban do McCoy twice, I believe, by then. And I was so affected, positively affected by it, that I wanted to give him one of Dee's kerchiefs, because I wanted to tell him if Dee was here, he would be so happy to see McCoy taken on by you. And, you know, Carl Urban just about did a soliloquy on Dee. He said, I had never met Dee. I so wished I had. I did read your book about Dee, but I never had any actual experience with him. And just to hear you say that, just, you know, it tickled him pink. And he said, listen, if we do another movie, I will find some way to incorporate the kerchief in the movie, because he did that. He wore a pinky ring in the first one, and he wore that medallion-like thing in the second one, all as an homage to Dee. So again, you have to, and how I got to meet Carl Urban is, I didn't know he'd read my book. I had no idea, but they were doing a Comic-Con, and I got in touch with the whoever was producing the show. And I said, you don't know me from Adam, and neither does Carl, but I was DeForest Kelley's personal assistant and caregiver at the end of his life. And I have a kerchief that belonged to Dee that I'd like to give to Carl if he's interested. Would you please let him know? And they said, oh, sure. And then they called back and said, oh, absolutely, he wants to meet you. So see, they could have said, give me the kerchief and be on your way, you know, but I took the 4 I had and I let him choose the one. And we were off in a separated area. We weren't with a bunch of other fans. They took me into this, you know, anteroom kind of thing, and I spent like 15 minutes with him. So you just have to look for ways in which you can gain access without being a pain in the butt. I mean, have something to give, have something to offer, be of value, and you can go so many places you never ever would have thought you would end up being. I'm saying this especially to the people who are right now looking for work, and maybe don't feel like they have quite what it takes, or that they're afraid to go in the direction they want to go because they don't think they have quite what it takes. Go in the direction you want to go. If you don't, someone else is going to put you in another direction, and you'll probably succeed at it. I was an executive secretary and a secretary for a very, 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 very long time, until I decided to freaking become a writer. And I've been one ever since. So someone will find a spot for you, but you want to be sure it's a spot that you are going to love like crazy. I enjoyed all the stuff I did working at Warner Brothers as an executive secretary. I loved it. I loved the people I work with. It wasn't off the beaten track. I was still in the entertainment industry, still helping make magic, you know, offhandedly. But that's what you do. You just keep going in the direction you want to go. Here are some pictures I took up at Vasquez Rocks, which you will recognize. Many Westerns were done there. Many Star Trek episodes were done there. This is where Dee worked a lot in his career. So I was able to go up to Vasquez Rocks and, you know, walk on the same roads that many of my favorite actors had walked on. It was an astonishingly wonderful time. Here's me at the Walton House, which again was behind that Laramie Street thing. The Waltons was one of my favorite shows. I just absolutely loved the Waltons. So I got to go over there and sit on their porch. And oh, it was really funny. I was walking that way one time because I have red hair. I'm walking in the direction, and this tour bus from Warner Brothers comes by, and they're saying, this is the Walton House, and this is the Walton House. And then they came up to me and said, oh, look, and here's one of the Waltons right now, because I had red hair and I was heading toward the thing. And I looked at her and I said, from your mouth to God's ears, you know. So they introduced me as one of the Waltons, and I'm sure people took pictures, and I'm like, I'm not one of the Waltons, but okay, there you go.
That's beautiful.
Isn't that great? So also while I was there, as you know, I love wild animals, and I was trying to find out about wild animals in the entertainment industry. So I took a course called Wild Animal Affection Training by this guy who was doing all kinds of animal work in Hollywood. Ralph Helfer, you may have heard about him. If you ever watched Betty White's Pet Set, he was there almost every week with his camels or his servals or his lions or whoever, you know. So here I am with one of the tiger cubs that was in the Beastmaster. I helped raise this tiger cub while I was there. And here's pictures of me filming one while another one's climbing on my back. I mean, these are precious memories to me, and they're just kind of ancillary to what I was doing with my life. But it was like, there's an opportunity. I want to experience that. Here's another one. Again, when I want to read you a poem about this, guys. Because when I first met this tiger cub, she was literally not much bigger than my boots. So I wrote this about this little tiger. Memory of a tiger cub. The tiger cub winds herself around my legs and chuffs in contentment, flopping onto the floor as we sit, pretending to be quite unruffled by the incident. We are all professionals here and should expect to be buffeted by tiny tiger paws from time to time. I try to act normally, but inside I am dying with excitement, thrilled by the cub, loving the cub, who now sleeps soundly atop my shoes. Someday she will weigh 3 times more than I. And will she remember the evening she slept soundly atop my shoes? I know I will. Yeah. Here's one of me with Natasha Tigress. Natasha Tigress passed away about 5 years after I had left Shambhala and Hollywood. And I wrote a poem about her for Tippi Hedren. She's the owner of, for those of you who don't know Tippi Hedren, she was an actress during the golden era. And she had a wildcat sanctuary called Shambhala. And this is where this picture was taken. And when Natasha passed away, of course, we were all devastated because she lived about 17 years. She was very well known to us. She was a dear, dear creature. So I wrote this. Natasha Tigress, burning bright, there in heaven safe tonight. How we miss you here below. We sigh in your afterglow. We miss your stripes, your kiss, your eyes, and sit and wonder why goodbyes should leave us feeling so bereft. Natasha, you have never left. We feel your presence in our minds. We see you everywhere, divine. The tears we shed do not impart the joy you left us, Tiger Heart. We know your God will treat you right, and you've no pain or needs tonight, but we hope, rightfully enough, you'll remember us fondly with a chuff.
That's so sweet.
Almost every time I had an interaction with an animal, it just filled me up with so many words and so many feelings that I had to write a poem or something about it. And this is one I wrote. This is Zamba, which was the Gentle Jungle. You've seen him in many, many, many movies and TV shows. And I wrote this. It's called Leo. In ancient Greece, they tamed you, and you spent your sleep in a human's bed, content to be content. In ancient Rome, they starved you and fed you Christians in huge arenas of blood, born of your need and man's perversity. In Africa today, you are feared, shot, stabbed, sacrificed to preserve cattle and mistaken notions of manhood. In America, you are enclosed, enraged in a small pit or a cage, often ignored or else on some hunter's mantle, the pride of his massive collection. Is your life getting better or only shorter as your numbers decreased and your few benefactors talk to the walls of an indifferent world? What has happened to you between the ancient Greek custom of taming you and the modern tradition of decimating you? Perhaps a better question might be, what has happened to us? And then here's another one. If you've never heard a lion roar up close and personal, I mean like literally 20 feet away from you on each side, I tried my best to say in words what that does to you. The thunder of your awesome voice reverberates through every nerve, every stone, each blade of grass, until I am certain no one on the planet has missed it, but most have. Most that felt your roar lost their egos and their nerve and set forth to conquer you in some ancient rite of manhood, to prove to themselves that the fear they felt was a mistake. The rest who never heard you at all, who have no time to care, who ignore even the cataclysm that is your voice, these are the ones who most desperately need your society. You are strong yet gentle. Your power is great, but your heart is even greater. Let the timbre of your roar reach us in the cities to remind us no man made you, and nothing he has made can equal you. Teach us what you have always known. Teach us what absolute power there is in gentleness, and how gentleness must be a part of absolute power. In order to survive, we must hear your voice reverberate through every nerve, every stone, every blade of grass, until we are certain that no one on the planet has missed it. And I know there are a lot of comments. I'm going to go through one more poem and I'll open it up.
I love that photo so much.
What?
I love that photo so much.
the elephant one?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm trying to find this thing. Okay, here we go. Now, here we go. While I was in Gentle Jungle, I had to learn to walk an elephant. And I got news. That seems like a hill too high to climb if you're just a person and not a, animal trainer. But here we go. This one's called Walking an Elephant. At first, to walk an elephant is something akin to walking the Empire State Building. And I feared that if I should forget the command, you might walk away. And we would search for days because I couldn't remember the right word. I was so engrossed at first with the technique and the hugeness. I couldn't see the elephant for the elephant hook, you might say. But when I forgot the command and stopped to ask the trainer, you stopped too. And it hit me, this elephant is training me. She is not a bulldozer, thoughtless. She is not a vehicle you put into drive that won't stop until you step on her brake. She is here. And just because the words I so carefully memorized have slipped my mind doesn't mean they have slipped hers. She knows. She feels what I feel and she obeys, even though the words I fumble with aren't exactly exact. Suddenly, she wasn't a building anymore or a tractor without brakes. She was just a friend helping me along. And then I remembered all the words. It is easy to walk an elephant when the elephant is your friend. Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Here is Darwin, also known as Doc. He was the little chimp that was inside the Battlestar Galactica little white robot dog. I don't remember what he was called, but he was the chimp that actually animated that little robot in Battlestar Galactica. He was an absolute darling. He would be in his enclosure and I would come by and he was getting himself in trouble all the time with me as a result of me. I mean, he would offer me his cookies. I mean, he wanted to interact with me in the worst way. And anytime the trainer would take him out and to start to train or teach us about him, the trainer would say, okay, Doc, go on up into the tree. And Doc would go up into the tree and he'd sit there. But if I dare look at him, just look at him, he would come shooting down the tree and come over and jump in my arms. And it was like, oh my gosh, I love him so much. And he knows it. He knows I love him. And Boone the trainer was always saying, Doc. And he was like blaming me for Doc's affection for me. And I was like, I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just here. If I look at him, he does that. And, Doc was getting in trouble because he loved me. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He just loved me. So that's animals. If you've ever worked around animals, or lived around animals or had them in your homes, how they develop a bond with you, and you don't know exactly how it happened or which one's going to take on with which family member. You might get a dog and he ends up being your sister's because he's just your sister's. He decided that's what his decision was. Well, that was the thing with Doc. He just said, no, you're my other. And he was getting in trouble all the time. And I felt so bad, but there was nothing I could do about it because I wasn't cueing him. I wasn't doing anything at all. In fact, I was trying not to do anything at all because I realized when I sent out this little love vibe to him that he would come running and get in trouble. So another time I was a volunteer at a wildcat sanctuary called Cougar Mountain in Yelm. It's no longer there. but they had lots of little baby kittens being born. This is a bobcat. I call this one Cat Got Your Tongue. And this was Demetrius Bobcat. I don't know where we were going. I don't know why we were in a car. We might have been on our way to Northwest Trek to do a little presentation or something. I don't remember, but the person who was with me took a picture, and it's like, I love it. I just love this picture because it's, well, you can see what it is. Here's another picture of me with Doc. And oh, I already did the elephant thing. The first serval I ever met, I got to move something down here. Something's out of order. Okay, you can't see it, but I can.
No, I can't see it.
The first serval I ever met was Sneakers, and he was called Sneakers because for some reason he was nuts about sneakers. He would roll on it and drool on it. I think especially if somebody had just washed their sneakers in bleach, he just went nuts over it. But the thing about Sneakers was he had been pretty poorly handled, and he was really hesitant about interacting with people. I mean, really hesitant. He would snarl and swipe with his paw. Now, servals will do that sometimes just to say good morning. It's not necessarily a horrible thing like you're about to get mauled, but he was really scared and he was really standoffish when I first got there. And Ralph Halfer said to me, the first thing I trained at Gentle Jungle was a goat, because goats are really easy to train. And the second one was this serval named Sneakers. And he said, all I want you to do is tame him, to make him handleable, to make him, amenable to being transported and put in movies and stuff. Well, I got news. The first day I got in with him, he was hiding in his little barrel, snarling and hissing and blinking his eyes like, I do not want to be around you. I do not want to be around you. And I just kept sitting with him and talking with him and, giving him love, sending him love vibes like I do with all animals. And at one point I started to reach my hand into the den box and just started to stroke him a little bit and let him know, honey, I expect nothing from you. I just want you to know I love you. Pretty soon he wandered out and he was sitting by me. Now, in about a 4-week period, I think it was a 4 to 6 week period. At the end of that time, here he was. I brought him out onto the, into the compound, and he fell asleep in my arms. And Ralph Hooper walked by and said, you pass, because he just couldn't even believe it. Here was this cat that was really a neurotic creature before, who was perfectly, happy there. Okay, before I go very much farther, hey, there's your baby.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to comments because I don't want to leave anybody hanging. And see if there's, okay, I got to get up here. See if there's, Jana Whips in UK is saying, great to see us. Tina, can I please show the picture of the three of you in your uniforms? I put it up here, but I didn't ask your permission. So let me know if I can do that. Yes, cute. See, I'm so far behind. Gus, this is new. You're new. Hello, Gus. Good morning.
Hey, Gus.
Please stay with us. I hope you're enjoying this. Usually we do a lot of talking about DeForest Kelley, but today we're a little bit off the beaten path because meeting Dee really put me in Hollywood and gave me other experiences that I've never talked really to anybody else about. And I realized they're pretty joyous and I wanted to share them. Oh, it was so cute, animal. I wonder which one animal that was. Oh, I know. I bet it was the hippo. Hippos are really fast. No, that is absolutely true. Hi, guys. All right. Very true. I got a lot of very trues going on, and I don't know what those are. See, I should have started comments earlier. And even if the door gets slammed in your face, keep trying till you get that one chance. Absolutely.
Yep.
I never doubted you, Kris. You never doubted me, Kris. Oh, good. Yeah, that was when I said, yeah, the people thought
I was saying you were delusional.
Well, I thought I was delusional. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, no, I don't lie. I really am not a liar. Fill out my unicorn. I know there was a few episodes of TNG that had exactly, and they came over to Warner Brothers. Oh, John is saying, I know there were a few episodes of The Next Generation that had a Western theme. Yes, And they almost always came over to Warner Brothers because we had one of the few remaining Western sets. Dreams go with an action plan. Absolutely.
Yep.
If it's a dream, if it's a goal, don't make it just a daydream. You have to put steps to it and start walking toward it. Don't hassle the Hoff. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, wow. Photo was amazing. I wish I knew which ones we were talking about. Sorry about that. I love Carl Urban. He was really good as Dr. McCoy. Yes, he was. And I wanted him to know Dee would think that too. And he's a Kiwi. Yes, indeed he is. He lives very, very close, apparently, to Helen. He is from New Zealand. Yes. That looks like the rock that Kirk fought the Gorn. Yes, I believe it is.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Luck when opportunity matches your readiness. Exactly. Tippy was in The Birds. Absolutely. She was in a couple of Alfred Hitchcock movies. Those of you who are older than 50 probably have seen her. Hey, you can look her up too. You can look her up on YouTube. She's 90, I want to say 93 now. Just this little bitty diminutive thing. She's an incredible human being. Hi, Tallulah. She's in Tacoma.
Hey, Tallulah.
Is that monkey going bananas? No, that was a chimpanzee. Chimpanzee. But okay, John, I got you. Cute cat. I got a lot of awes here. Well, that's good. That means I haven't missed anything. All these cuties have good taste. You're the best.
They're either awing the animals or you.
The cuties, huh?
They're either awing the animals or you.
I presume they're awing the animals. I'm not terribly awesome. All these cuties have good taste. You're the best. Thank you. You can if you want, but I don't remember what you're talking about. Okay, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Here we go. Let me get you up here before I continue with my little. Okay, where did I put you? I know I put you in here. Well, doggone it. I'll probably run across you as I go down these. Cookie Sword last time told us that we could show. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go in here real quick. Doggone it. Okay. I can't find Tina's picture right now. Okay. Here's Eric's, who is Cookie Sword. She told us last time I could show these photos, but I couldn't find them. And Hannah sent them to me because she had them too. In her McCoy Halloween outfit. Okay. So let me go back here. We got Doc, we got Elephant, we got that. Here's a picture of Kirsten Darch. You met her in my book about DeForest Kelley. She was the East German gal who, as soon as the Berlin Wall came down, she made arrangements to come to America, and she wanted to come to a DeForest Kelley convention. So when she did, she came to my house and stayed with me during that time. And we went up to Shambhala. As you can see, this is Teeny in the Paramount shirt and Tippy on the right, and that's Natasha in the front. And we had a wee of a time. Tina, Kirsten, also known as Teeny, had taught herself English because on the east side of Germany back then, that was like illegal, but she had taught herself by watching TV shows and stuff like that. And so she came over, and one night we were talking like till 3 or 4 in the morning, and my eyes were getting so tired. I think she could tell I was getting tired, really, really tired. But I was still there. I was still trying to stay with it. And she looks at me and she goes, oh, I hope I'm not molesting you. And I thought, Okay, that's the wrong word. That's the wrong word, but I knew what she meant, you know. And stuff like that. You get people thinking that's what that means, and we think of it as something else, you know. But it was like I'll never forget. Isn't I hope I'm not molesting you. And I said, no, you're not. And that's not the right word. But it was pretty funny.
Did you explain to her what that means?
I had to be really, really careful not to laugh too hard, because it was like, oh my, you know. Okay. I went to an Actors and Others for Animals benefit down there, obviously, and met Earl Holliman, Linda Lavin. Who else did I meet? Ed Asner. I don't have a picture. And Betty White. And I don't have a picture. I had them. I just don't know where they went. But these were opportunities to meet. And some of the Walton guys were there because they really, truly were musicians, and they were the entertainment for the thing. Okay. And now I'll jump back up to before I went to Hollywood. You know, I'm a Star Trek fan. So when Leonard Nimoy came to Seattle, I went to Seattle and I met Leonard Nimoy. Nice. And I met Dee a month before that. So, and that's how it starts. You just, after I met Dee, I wrote an article about him, and my teacher said, you need to send that to him. And I was scared to do that. I was really scared to do that. And he just kind of pulled rank on me and said, do it. And I did it. And look what happened. You know, he got it published for me. They continue to encourage me. They encouraged me to come down to Hollywood. You have no idea what's in store for you if you don't just kind of get out your comfort zone. You know, everything good that will happen to you will happen outside your comfort zone. If there's something you haven't accomplished yet, it's outside your comfort zone. So go for it. And of course, you've seen this and this. Jumping back up into Cougar Mountain Sanctuary when I was up here in Washington before I went down. This is Dreyfus, a leopard that I worked with there. I have some really, really cool. I think Hannah, you saw them. I don't know if you did or Helen or both, but I have some actual motion pictures, home movies of me trying to train these animals in the same way I had learned down in Hollywood to get them to buzzer train, to go from place to place and jump up and, you know, get treat rewards. Here's another close up of him. He was the biggest darn leopard. I kind of think he was at least part jaguar. And as a result of all of my experiences, I wrote a book about almost all of them. You know, it just depends on what topic that interests me interests you. I also want to give you, here's one for Helen. Helen loved this so much that she got herself some stuff. This is another one, you know, Baby Hippo gives you joy. This one, I want to give you an outright laugh. I laughed, Helen laughed, everybody who sees it laughs the first time. Here we go. This is in my bathroom.
I remember that.
So, yeah, you know what? Find ways to have fun with your life, because there are so many opportunities that if you don't, you know, grab hold of them. Oh, I also want to talk to you about somebody who talk about grabbing life with both hands and feet and anything else you can grab hold of things with. Jay Brower is going to be our guest on Evernew on January 28th, if I'm not at Cape Canaveral during a launch. We are tentatively scheduled to have him here on January 28th to talk about his exploits. The man is a wing walker on planes. He's a hiker. He's a mountaineer. I'm going to show you just 4, and these aren't even the best 4. I just want to whet your appetite for what you're about to see. Here is one of the pictures he took. Here is another, and I mean, seriously, he's standing on top of a peak when he took it. This wasn't taken from a plane. He went there. Here's a picture of a waterfall. Here's a picture of him climbing up a glacier, I think, at Mount Rainier, but we'll get that straightened out later.
Is that him? I thought he took the picture.
He may have taken the picture. I know they were taking turns taking the picture. All I know, it's a picture of them during one of these things. I believe he said this is the first time he climbed a ladder over a crevice, whatever you call them. And it's like, you look down thousands of feet when you're doing stuff like that. Anyhow, he's amazing. I knew him way before I knew he was did any of this. I met him at ABC Day. It's a Bethel High School thing that they do every year, and they have a lot of vendors turn out, and they had Captain America there, and they had a Huey helicopter come down and land. They had stagecoach, so you could take a stagecoach ride. It was a time for students and parents and the community to come together to find out what Bethel is all about and how wide-ranging and eclectic and totally a living space it was. Because a lot of, I don't know about your states, but in my state, we have to get past levies in order to help schools and to agree to pay extra taxes to help schools either expand or do other things. So they have to do a lot of outreach and say, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. And ABC Day is one day a year for them to invite the community in to see their robotics teams and their veterinary teams and their whatever the students are working toward as careers. The community gets to come in and say, yes, this is a really, really important thing for me to support. So I'll have a few images from that too, but Jay and I are going to get together and come up with probably 100 images that will blow you away. Literally, they will blow you away. And he'll get to talk about some of it too. I think it'll be a real interesting time. So, okay, let's jump back up into here. Hannah, jump in here if you've got.
I mean, it was interesting when we were talking about animals. My dog decided to come by first.
Yes. Your animal light must have turned on in your chest, and she felt you. They are very psychic. I had a cat, a Siamese cat. He thought he was a dog. He was not anything like a cat. I mean, seriously. And if you're a pet owner, I know you have these moments where you think, oh my gosh, I mean, in your spirit kind of leaps and you think, oh my gosh, I haven't seen Sadie in an hour and a half. I wonder where she is. I wonder if she's okay. Well, I've never, ever had a cat, including Deacon, respond to just that startled feeling. But when it comes to Karma Cat, I should read about Karma Cat in this poem too. When it came to Charisma, who I also called Turkey, all I had to do is have that startled feel like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen him or heard from him in a while. He could be in a completely different room and he would go meow and he would come. I couldn't make it happen. I couldn't fake the startle. I tried. It had to happen when I was totally and completely startled by the fact that, oh my gosh, I haven't seen him for a while. And I think your dog is keying into, oh, she has her animal heart on right now. And that's probably why she came in. You realize they have something we don't have. They've had, a gazillion years to be able to know what other creatures are thinking. That's how they stayed safe. And we haven't had to think about that too much now that we have houses and weapons and this, that, and the other thing. We're less inclined to pay attention to what our intuitions are telling us. And dogs and cats have never lost that. They go, oh, somebody loves me right now. I mean, they love me all the time, but right now they're really thinking about me. And that's probably why she came in. That's my guess as to why she came in. Let me read you the real quick Karma Cat one. Karma Cat, Charisma, for your nickname Turkey, I honestly apologize. Surely you deserve better than attempted humor. Fortunately, it means to you what it has come to mean to me because of you. Reverent, unabashed, all-consuming love, trust, respect, and understanding. Charisma, dear palace cat of Siam, your soft searching paw seeking sanctuary neath the warm bed covers in the dead of the night reaches my heart and my soul with an ease unmatched. Share my warmth, my life, my dreams, my world, as your species always has. Remember? We shared lives in Greece long years ago, and for our association during the witch hunts, we both burned at the stake. You saved my granary during the Middle Ages, and when your crises came, I was there for you. Recycle lives, recycle love. I'm content, absolutely, to spend eternity with you, cats. Cat. Um, and here's another one. Oh, to my cats. What makes him Turkey and not a copycat? What makes Bish Bish different from every other cat? A way of walking, of talking, of sharing, a way of purring, of running, of daring. They are not alike, and no cat is. Sebastian, Nero, Bursties, Miz, all are their own, all are quite rare, each its last type, and each made me care. Timothy was first. He let me in, into his life, the thick and the thin. He gently taught me what I need to know about cats and their ways and how to let go. You need to know how to let go. None of them share your whole life through. They live a few years and all of them go, it seems much too soon. But the love and the memories they ultimately leave soon make you forget your aptness to grieve. Soon there's another. No copycat, he cannot replace. He can only be. And somehow, thankfully, that is enough. Yeah.
I can attest that is very true.
Uh-huh.
We lost my first dog, Dixie, in July of 2017.
Uh-huh.
And that same year, on a Christmas morning of 2017, my parents wanted Abby and I to open a box together. You know, and it was a box within a box within a box. Finally, until it was two small boxes. We opened those, and there were dog toys.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to cry because I felt like I wasn't ready.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was too soon, but as soon as I held her, Sadie,
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was going to be okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to go.
And ironically, she's chosen me.
Uh-huh.
We were talking earlier about how some animals are like, nope, you're mine now.
Right. Right. Well, that's it. They never replace because that individual, unique personality belong to only one, just like human beings. But they always find their way right in there. They just find that little whatever's empty that the other one didn't fill or whatever. I don't know what it is, but they always find the spot you need, and they say, "There, I fit this. Am I okay?" And pretty soon you're going, "Yeah, you're absolutely wonderful." So, do I still have oh, wait a minute. Let me go up here. Squirrel Lake. My cousin worked in a shelter right when my last two cats died. She called and asked if I'd like two more found on their steps. No, I'm not ready. Oh, come on. Just see them. To get her off my back, I went. They adopted me as soon as I walked in the door. Dellinger lived to 13. Capone is still running my condo. I love it.
Aww.
I love it. Do I still have that car? The
one that the Kellys gave you.
The one that Kelly gave me? No, I don't. And I wish I did. I mean, yeah. No, I don't still have that car. There was a young gal who was going to college. She needed a car really, really bad. And I can't remember. My sister was going to give me, she was going to bequeath me a car that was newer, but it was like an SUV type, and it was a gas guzzler. As soon as I had given this little red car to a college student and told her how precious it was to me and to take really good care of it, and gave her my book so she knew where that car came from. I mean, she was like, she was practically genuflecting by the time she took the car. She said, I will never forget. Well, within about 3 months of getting this car from my sister, I realized what a gas guzzler it was. And then I put $800 worth of new tires on. Anyhow, I ended up selling it to my niece because she needed a vehicle and she didn't do that much traveling. I thought, well, that'll work for her. But I was like, oh, and ever since then, I've thought I should have kept that little car. However, I now have an SUV because I have goats. I need to pack hay. I need to haul hay, and stuff like that. So I'm kind of like a mini barnyard here. And I really do need a larger vehicle than that would have been. But it would have been great to keep and puddle around town with it when I wasn't, out on a livestock run. I love this photo with Dee so much. I'm presuming it's the one up above Hannah's head in this picture. I'm not sure because I'm not following. I love that. Okay. Um, are you out of this world? Oh yes. A few times ago,
Yes.
we did the Northwest Trek run, and Hannah took a picture, a movie of otters. Wasn't that you, or was that Helen?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
you. Yeah. And I showed that one. I don't know if that's still down here or not. Let's take a look.
I don't know.
Because if it is, I can run it again. No, it isn't there still. See, in order to show new things, I have to take away old things, and then it's like, no. Anything else? Any other comments? Mine is for my lady and offer here chuckling. Come in. Mine is for my lady. Oh, your butt napkins, my lady. And I often hear chuckling coming from the small room with visitors who see it. Yes, I love that thing. Oh, Toledo said she just passed by Bethel High School the other day.
Really?
Yeah, my cat Kelly, all she wanted was me. Yep. They are. Well, I'm glad to see another bunch of animal lovers here. This is absolutely great because I thought, well, I don't know that I'm going to talk about D much today, but let's talk about other things that people like. And I love to hear all your stories about your critters. Yeah. Oh, so what else?
Not really sure if I have any stories about Sadie or anything. I know she got out one year at Christmas, and we didn't know until our neighbor knocked on the door. We opened it up, and she was like, she just had this dog, and she's like, I think this is yours, you know.
Oh. Well, I can read one more heart poem about servals because, as you know, I had Deacon for 17 and a quarter years. I wrote a book about him called about his life called Serval's Son. And I'll see if I can find I don't know if I even have it. Here's the cover of Serval's Son. But here's a poem I wrote about servals, not necessarily Deacon. This is about a wild serval in Africa. Oh, the neat thing about that was when I had Deacon, I was in touch with a woman who was studying servals, kind of like Jane Goodall does with chimps in Africa. And she had done a large spread article in Natural History magazine about servals. And when I read it, I cried. I was so incredibly tickled and happy to find out that I hadn't changed Deacon by taming him. He was still absolutely 100% serval. He had all of the same mannerisms and you know, everything that they were doing in the wild, he was doing in my home, you know. And I thought, wow. And so I wrote to her and let her know, you know, about this thing. And we had a little bit of a correspondence going on. And so anyhow, I kind of wrote this in homage also to her who was studying servals and to Deacon and to the fact that they are an endangered species. And when we lose them, we can't get them back. So this is called Serval's Son. The vole rushes nervously forward and upward, reaching the sweet budding savanna low grass and the dawn one last time. A soundless immediate pounce as the serval cat hits, then a series of mews and a frolic, a ritual of celebration for success. By the swelling, rushing riverbank, the serval rests, casually washing its paws and face, but alert, ever alert to dangers. As the vole is to the serval is to others. Hyena, wild dog, leopard, constrictor, the wherewithal of survival. Large oval ears test the air, the earth, the foliage, and the subterranean societies. Will they yield prey or predator? The sleek spotted cat silently retires on long legs to the cool, dense undergrowth at the river's edge, appetite sated. The sun arcs into the African sky on this new day. The serval purrs momentarily, then curls to sleep. That's just kind of a day in the life of a wild serval. I could read some really, 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 really sad things out of this book, but I won't. Anyhow, if any of you are
not in the mood for getting all sad right now.
I'm not in the mood at all for getting all sad, right? But there are some things about crises facing animal in the world. And I don't want you to think the book is all light and, you know, it's poignant, but there's also ones you'll read that one of them actually reached an anthology. And it's called When Hell Freezes Over, and it's about the harp seal harvest. So there are things in there that will probably make you cry, but the whole idea is to make people feel something who maybe have never had the opportunity to meet some of these creatures. Once you meet creatures or other people, even people who are diametrically opposed to you politically or in any other way, the minute you can meet someone new and have some kind of interaction with them, all of a sudden it makes the world feel like a much friendlier place. You know, it's like, okay, maybe I don't agree with you, but you're still a human being and you still have the same needs I have. You still have the same whatever. And when you interact with animals, you find out that, yeah, guess what? They have the same needs we do. They need to be able to find food. They need to be able to have a safe place to rest. You know, all of the things that are our survival needs are theirs too. And when you realize that we're destroying their habitat, it's such a huge, tremendous, and our own. Every time we destroy some animal's habitat, we're also destroying our own. It makes me really, really much more likely to actually, you know, go in front of a legislative committee or hold a sign or write to my Congress people and say, look, this has to stop. We need to help. We need to save ourselves and all of the beings who are still here, because we're losing so many every single minute of every single day. Okay, I'm coming down here to the notes.
Do you mean the comments?
The comments, yeah. Okay, here's where I am. Tallulah said her doggo just went insane over the UPS delivery. Yeah. Okay. She also howled at the roofers the other day. I can send you the video. A little sheepoo howling. Go ahead. Send that to us.
Maybe we've tried to get Sadie to howl. She won't do it.
Have you tried singing at a high pitch?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, we've tried doing that. We've tried howling. We've tried putting, dogs howling on the TV. She's just, nah, I'm good. Yeah.
It's really funny. The people across the street from us, I don't think you noticed probably, but they actually have a kennel over there and they have a variety of breeds over there. Some of them howl like crazy when a siren goes off and the other ones are totally quiet. It just depends, I think, on how badly their ears are hurt by the sounds. Whoa. So the fact that she isn't howling is kind of good.
But at the same time, she'll look out the window, start barking. What do you see? Come down. It's probably nothing. There's nothing there. She's literally just barking at nothing.
You think there's nothing there. Remember the time Dee and Carolyn came over to my house? First of all, way back in the day, before they had met Deacon or me, I told them that one time Deacon was playing in the corner of my living room in my house. And in one corner, we were in the opposite corner, but in the opposite corner, there was a wood stove. And that was the only area of the room that didn't have a rug underneath, because wood stoves get hot and you didn't want it to catch the rug on fire. So the wood stove was burning, and Deacon and I were literally wrestling. He was just little at that time. We were doing some little kitty wrestling. And all of a sudden he stopped and he looked over into the corner and did that. And then he went over to the corner and went behind the stove. And I thought, what are you, what? And I thought, my God, maybe there's a mouse back there. I mean, he heard something and he went to invent. So I went around there and looked. He had heard an ant walking on the tile. An ant. I told Dee and Carolyn that, and Dee sent me this drawing of what he thought Deacon really heard that day. And he had an elephant outside the house, tapping on the side of the house. He did not believe me. And I said, I wouldn't have believed you either. I had read that servals can hear rodents burrowing 3 feet down, but that's, and that is pretty astonishing. But when I saw him do that with the ant, I went, oh my gosh, what do they have to learn to ignore just to not go insane, if they can hear that well. And then Dee and Carolyn came over to my house one time to see Deacon again. I'm sure to see.
Hold on. I think I got to step out for a second. Sorry.
Okay.
Keep talking.
I will. And Dee and Carolyn came over, and Deacon did one of these things, and he's like stared at the wall again. And I said, Deacon, what do you hear? And Dee said, oh, he probably hears an ant. You know, he still was giving me grief over the fact that I just don't know how a cat could ever hear an ant. I said, I don't know what it is he hears, but he hears something that we cannot hear, because they have incredible, those satellite dishes that they have, those things are designed to hear whatever they need to keep them safe and alive, and or if they're hungry to go eat something. Usually she only howls occasionally at sirens, but the other day she was howling. I got her to woo with me. Ah, they've been up here in Tacoma, right? They have been not to Tacoma that I know of. I'm sure Carolyn was as a kid. Carolyn grew up in, she was born in Ely, Nevada. When her mom and dad divorced, her mother took her to Seattle. So she grew up in Seattle. I know Dee has been to, Wenatchee, because I met him in Wenatchee. He has been to Cedar-Woolley. He has been to Spokane. I don't know if he's ever been to Tacoma. But I'm pretty sure Carolyn has, because if she, of course, back then, we have to remember this is 1930s. The roads between Seattle and Tacoma were not what they are now. And in fact, heck, when did most people get vehicles? We always think, oh, it's just 30 miles. Of course she came down. Who knows? Back then, we didn't have an interstate system. I remember the first time we went down to Disneyland when we were kids, it was a 2-lane highway, and it was quite the trek. Now you get on an interstate and you're down there in 18 hours, but it took us, several days to get there back then. So I really can't say whether Carolyn was here. She was very near here. I know that.
I actually have someone right here lifting my hand. Does anyone want to see a dog?
Yes, and I have this one here.
You have Charlie.
I have my headless. There she is. My headless Charlie.
Oh, come on.
She's come twice since we've been talking about cats. She said, you got your animal heart on right now. You got your animal heart on, Ma. Yeah, you got your animal heart on. I want some of that.
Oh, yes.
I want some of that. Okay.
There's a girl.
How's that beautiful girl? Her hair sure grows back fast.
Yeah, we're going to get her face trimmed soon. Keep the rest of the coat on for winter.
She's adorable. And Miss Charlie, as you can see, if you can see her nose, she's got a Charlie Chaplin mustache, which is how she got her name. Huh. Can you see?
Oh, Charlie.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Hannah couldn't pet Charlie while she was here because she's allergic. So we had to do some fancy footwork to keep the cats out of Hannah's face. Anywho, small world now. It wasn't so small back then before the interstate highway. Yeah. Isn't it? Yes. Well, we're going to have more pet days, aren't we? They just come.
Yeah.
They just come running. They just come running when we're talking about the pets. That my girl.
She didn't come that time. When I went upstairs because I thought I heard someone at the door.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, I should probably get that because my mom and Abby are at a craft fair, and I'm like, yeah, they could be like locked outside.
Uh-huh.
So I should probably go check. No one was there, but I saw the dog, so I was like, I just invited her down here. So.
Uh-huh. And how's Megan been doing during our hour together?
She's been doing pretty good.
Right. Super, super. All right. Well, I think we're done. It's been an hour and 10 minutes?
Yeah, somewhere close to that. Yeah.
It's been fun. Really put on your calendars, guys, January 28th, because you do not want, we'll probably find some more people between now and then, but you do not want to miss Jay Brower. He's going to be absolutely fascinating. And hey, Hannah, next time, I don't know if you want to do this, dig up some photos of some of your things that you've done that you have never told us about, images of of stuff you do, because you're an equal co-host here, and I took it over today pretty much.
No, you're good.
If you have some photos from all of your exploits, it would be fun to see those. And the same with all of you people who are listening. And if you have a tale to tell, a story to tell, we would love to have you on here as a guest. Seriously. So it seems like all of the people who come here are so shy.
No, that's okay.
It is okay. It is okay.
Extroverts, we don't care.
How we get
either way.
Yeah. The the neat thing about it is this is our opportunity to really connect. Since you and I have actually been together in real life,
yeah,
it has made EverNews so much better, because we're totally and completely comfortable with each other now. And that's what I'd like to see among the viewers too, the listeners.
Yeah,
is to get to know each other, because in the days of COVID, in the days of us trying to be careful and comfortable, and an awful lot of us got terribly comfortable being isolated. And being isolated is not a good place to be. It can be a lonely world. And
unless you're an introvert, then you're like, yes.
Tallulah says she's so shy. Tallulah, I have news. I'm very, very shy. Hannah can attest to that, because I almost didn't do EverNews, because the reason I became a writer, writing is show business for shy people. I have a lot to say, but I'm shy and I'm introverted. And this has really brought me out of the shell. Yeah. I was really unshy as a kid. I was like a Shirley Temple type. They would my mom and dad said I would get on a table and dance. I mean, I was so out there. And unfortunately, I didn't belong to an acting family. And they were trying to, tamp it down. And when they did it, I guess they were kind of ham-handed about it. And they made me feel like there was something intrinsically wrong with me. So I became very, very, very shy and very reserved and very quiet, unless I knew the people. Well, so that person is still there, but I've been, moderated so that I got to the point, well, nobody needs to hear from me. Nobody cares. I mean, why would I do this? So actually,
I hope you don't feel that way anymore.
I don't. No, I don't.
But I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I speak for everyone watching when I say we all love you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But one of the reasons I became a writer is because I had a lot to share, a lot of heart things to share, and I just didn't feel like I could do that, verbally. I can do it with words on paper, but not here, If you ever read my book, you'll notice the hundreds, literally thousands of times the Kellys called me. I almost never called them unless they said, call me back. I'm terrible on the phone. It's like, well, I don't know if they want to hear from me, so why should I call? I mean, it's just, I don't know what that is. It was just indoctrinated into me as a kid. Nobody needs to hear from you. And it's been a long time coming, and that's why I started writing. And then now I'm like, well, you need to step outside your comfort zone. Like I was just telling all of you folks, even at the shy person I was stepping a little bit outside my comfort zone. Every time I took a step, it was like, well, my thought was, you already don't have it. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? You already don't have it. Whatever that next thing that I thought I might want, you already don't have it. You have not. With the copywriting thing, it was like, well, I've never been a copywriter. Well, the worst they can say is no, and I'll just be right where I am now. No, I don't have the job. But what if they say yes? And when they said yes, and I realized, oh, hey, I can be of value to somebody, boom, and then I end up being a, employee of the quarter. So yeah, it's a learning process of if you were, I don't know how many of you were in my situation where you started out really like this little burst, this little firecracker, and somebody said, no, that's not right. I don't know what your circumstances are, but it's part of your mission, whatever it is. I mean, I have the right parents. I do not, I don't feel bad that I have the wrong parent. I don't feel I had the wrong parents. Whatever lesson I had to learn, that was one of them. sometimes people make you feel less well about yourself than you should. You need to, remember who that little sparkler was, and kindle that flame. In fact, the flame's always there. It never goes out. And you end up, just saying, okay, let's do this a little more, do it a little more. And that's really what put me on my trajectory to say, well, try. I mean, the first guy that said, you need to send this to DeForest Kelley, I was going, no, I'm not going to send that thing to him. My teacher, I mean, why would I do that? I mean, why would I do that? Just do that. It'll make him feel good. Oh, really? He hears it 10 times a day. I mean, you can talk yourself out of so much stuff if you don't go for it. So, I hope to meet you someday. Well, you live in Tacoma. I have my Jersey buddy. Oh, you too.
Hey, Jersey buddy.
We didn't know Tallulah when she was here. So see what happens. In fact, I haven't met Tallulah yet. My English is bad. And
I haven't either.
Tina is one of the most incredible people you will ever meet. This gal in Russia is fabulous. We do a lot of IMing, video IMing, and at some point she's going to be not so shy, and she's going to feel like her English she's doing really well with her English as far as I'm concerned. And at some point she'll come on here. She wants to be an actor. So you're like, lots of actors were shy. Dee was shy. Lord Laurence Olivier threw up before every performance. A lot of shy people are there because that's their opportunity to live. Even if it's in another person's role, it's an opportunity for them to step outside themselves and be what they aren't normally. So
Leonard Nimoy said something along those lines. He said that growing up he was very shy, but when you're an actor, you go on that stage and perform, that's not you.
That's correct. I was the same way. I was really, really comfortable acting. I was more comfortable acting than I was having somebody read what I had written that they thought was really good. Like my teacher would read my stuff, and I just want to melt and run under somebody's shoe because that's me. But when I'm acting, I'm not me. And I was taking on another character, and that character was boisterous or whatever that character was, and I could do that. So a lot of actors are shy. Might be one of the reasons Dee didn't do too terribly many interviews compared to the other ones. It was like, oh my gosh, he was so humble. Like, what do I have to say to anybody? Be nice to everybody. I mean, what did he have to say other than be nice to everybody? That was his ambiance, was I care about you. And he didn't consider that anything particularly noteworthy. He figured everybody should care about everybody. And how rare is that, When we all come right down to it, that's really all we want. We want people to know that they care. We want that we care about them. So, anywho, I guess we're finished for this time. And
let's
go back and check up on your sister. And we will, all the comments are in now. So, and everybody's on MDB Media, which is exactly where you should be. Tallulah, thank you. John.
Thank you, guys.
Alan. Cookie Sword didn't come on, but I showed Cookie Sword's thing. And I will again, Tina, find that photo that I was sure I uploaded this morning. I think when I ended up toward the end, you sent me a couple more things and I had to delete something, remember? In order to make all the photos. So that's probably where it went. I'll do it next time. All right. So take care. And Hannah, you'll hang in for a second.
Yep.
Please share this with other people, especially other animal lovers, because this has been a really, really good one for animals. And we'll see you next time in 2 weeks, which is December 3rd. That'll be our 25th episode.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's fast.
Yeah. Take care. Love you all.
Bye, guys. We love you.